to WVNG Ed Talks, a simple discussion about sometimes complex military education benefits. I'm Dr. Sherry Schaefer, Education Services Officer for the West Virginia National Guard. Today's show is entitled Meet Your PFC, and our soldiers who are listening probably just did a mental, what? It's not what you think. I'm talking about your personal financial counselor, PFC. These individuals are a vast resource of information on managing debt, credit cards, spend plans, and so much more. Today's guest is Rosalie McNeil, a personal financial counselor affiliated with the West Virginia National Guard. Rosalie, welcome to the show. Tell me a little bit about your background so our listeners can appreciate what you bring to the table.
Thank you, Dr. Schaefer. Thanks for having me on. My background, worked in public accounting for a number of years. Then I taught business and finance classes at a college for about 25 years. And I'm also a real estate broker. I owned a real estate franchise for a number of years. So in 2010, I decided to get my license to be able to work with service members. And I have been doing that since 2010. And I started here on a full-time basis with the West Virginia National Guard about 4 years ago. And I find it most gratifying. I really love to work with these soldiers and airmen.
Well, that's fantastic. So in regard to education, what services do PFCs provide in broad terms?
We help service members in a couple of ways. One of the things we do is help them how to figure out how to pay for college. And I have trainings that I can offer that are very specific to the military that addresses that. And one of the things that we try to do is help them avoid any of those scholarship scams that are out there. And then the other thing that we help with is helping them to develop the best plan to pay off their student loans. There are a lot of options that are out there, and we try to help them so that they can incorporate student loan debt into their spending plan.
That's one of the big questions that we often receive in the Education Services Office, and that's the student loans. And you said you can offer information on that?
Yes. We have a complete training that we can do on that. We have actually two, and it's worked wonderfully well. I think everybody gets a lot out of that particular training. Student loans are of particular importance to the military because if they have anything that's unpaid on their credit, it's going to affect their security clearance.
Gotcha.
And as a financial educator, I pull credit reports and review them with everyone and help them clean it up or whatever. And the two things that I see on there all the time are medical bills and student loans.
Yep. So we know that our guardsmen have a lot of benefits available to them to assist with paying for college, whether that's for a trade school or certification, a degree. In some cases, though, even when all of the benefits are applied, our soldiers and airmen need a little bit more help. Can a PFC assist with that?
We do. We are always here to evaluate different loan options and make sure that they're getting their best for their money and help them develop a spending plan that will incorporate all of that and make it easier for them.
I'm probably going to throw you for a loop, but when you say you talk about loan options, is it okay to just take kind of what the school says for granted, or is it really important to speak with you guys and really wade through all of that information? Can you help with that?
Well, we're here to provide a free and confidential service, and there's no limit on the number of times that a soldier or an airman can come and talk with us. So we certainly want everyone to take advantage of that. It's one of the benefits that is offered to our military through the Department of Defense. So it's always a wise idea to get another eyes on something before you make a decision. So we encourage everybody to give us a call.
Well, how important is it for the budgeting process to speak with you?
Well, the budgeting process, it's one of the most important things that you can do. Our term on it, budgeting, seems like such a negative word to people, and it shouldn't be, but a lot of people take it that it is. So we talk about spending plans because everybody, spending plans. That sounds better than budgeting. So I always say that there is nothing wrong with what is going on with your money as long as you're in charge of your money instead of your money being in charge of you. And unfortunately, we have too many people that don't know how to manage money. They've never been taught. We need greater financial literacy in our country as a whole, I think. So what we try to do with a spending plan is make sure that you are directing your dollars where they need to go, and you're in charge of the money. It's not in charge of you, and you're making it work for you. You don't want lazy money. You want that money working for you.
That sounds like very good advice. And so on that note, one final question, if you could give one bit of sage advice to our soldiers and airmen, what would that be?
Dr. Schaefer, it's very hard for me to give just one because I have several steps that I like to take people through with their finances just to make sure that all areas are covered. Mm-hmm. But since you've asked me for one, it would be that everyone has an emergency fund. And we encourage everyone to start with at least $1,000, get $1,000, put that someplace where it's liquid and safe. And then if you have that and something comes up, you don't have to put anything on those expensive credit cards and that sort of thing. So I guess number one would be an emergency fund.
Okay, I won't ask you for a second one unless you really want me to. No, I'm kidding. Well, Miss Rosalie McNeil, I thank you so much for being here with us on Ed Talks and for all the information you provided today. If any of our listeners would like to contact Miss McNeil and our PFC here in West Virginia, you can call her at 304-410-7332. That's 304-410-7332. Join us next time on WVNG Ed Talks, where we will discuss CA, that's Credentialing Assistance. WVNG Ed Talks. Tune in, turn it up, and join the conversation.